Dolphins fans, welcome into this edition of Dolphins Today. Hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. And on today's show, we're going to be breaking down the winners and losers of this loaded Dolphins offseason. Miami has obviously made plenty of big moves. So who's come out of this offseason that continues? Some other moves might be on the way. But at the moment, who are the winners and losers of the Dolphins offseason? We're going to get to that in a second. But before we do, please hit that big red subscribe button. We're fast approaching 25,000 subscribers, and that's a milestone here at Chat Sports. When a channel gets to that many subs, that means you're going to get more content, whether it's live shows, more videos, etc. We're going to get you more content if we can get to 25,000 subscribers. So hit that big red sub button right now. It's been a big offseason, like we mentioned, for Miami. I mean, we don't even have room on this graphic for all the moves we've made. This doesn't even include them extending Xavien Howard in that massive deal that we'll actually talk about a little bit later on in the show. The most recent move, signing Sony Michel, which kind of made a couple Dolphins running backs losers this offseason. Tyreek Hill, of course, they traded for. They signed Teron Armstead. This is just a crazy offseason for the Dolphins, and a 9-8 football team that almost made the playoffs last season certainly got a lot better. So after all these moves, who are the biggest winners and losers of the Dolphins offseason? And we're going to start with our first winner, who I think clearly is Tua Tagovailoa. When you look at what the Dolphins have done around him, that makes Tua the number one biggest winner of this Dolphins offseason. He had the worst offensive line in the league last season. According to PFF, the Dolphins had even a worse offensive line than the Detroit Lions. Literally dead last in offensive line rankings across the entire league. Now, Tua has Teron Armstead on his left side. He has Connor Williams in front of him as well. So that offensive line has drastically got better. Could get even better if they go out and sign J.C. Tretter. Please do that, Chris Greer, right now. And Tua has running backs now. Myles Gaskin was RB1 last season. Now he's RB4. That takes a lot of pressure off of Tua signing Raheem Mostert, signing Sony Michel and Chase Edmonds as well. And they added Tyreek Hill and Cedric Wilson too, and drafted Eric Ezukanma. So you also add some wide receiver weapons to Tua's arsenal. This offense has gotten a lot better. The offensive line has gotten a lot better. And Tua Tagovailoa, who gets more hate, more unnecessary hate than any other player, not just quarterback, in the National Football League, is going to shut a lot of people up this year. When you look at what he did last year, he won games. The Dolphins won 8 of their last 9 games. He had no offensive line. He barely had any weapons. He had no good running backs. That is about to change, and I think Tua is going to surprise a lot of people. Not to mention, he now has a head coach who supports him, a head coach and a coaching staff that is going to rally around him. He did not have that before. He did not have that in his first 2 seasons in the league. Mike McDaniel, exactly what Tua Tagovailoa needs in year 3. So is Tua going to shut up the haters this year? All those people that were talking on Twitter, overreacting to the throw to Tyreek that was posted on the Dolphins Twitter. Is he going to shut those people up? Type Y for yes, type HY for heck yes, down in the comments. It's the pinned comment on today's video, so go down and reply. Let's get into number 2, and that's Michael Deiter. And I don't like that he's a winner because I want J.C. Tretter to Miami, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald has done a really good job kind of covering the Dolphins' offensive line, and he kind of said it's going to be Michael Deiter or Connor Williams at this point. Something might change. J.C. Tretter remains a possibility, but Connor Williams being tested out in the offensive line, and maybe Michael Deiter is ultimately who they're going to go with, but please just sign J.C. Tretter. I mean, at this point, just sign J.C. Tretter. Michael Deiter is a winner of this offseason thus far because you surprisingly didn't draft a center and you haven't signed a center yet in free agency. But sign J.C. Tretter. Just do it, Chris Greer. You have the cap space to do it. You have the 5th most cap space in the entire league, even after the Sony Michel signing, which was a team-friendly deal. You have the money. Go out and get J.C. Tretter, hashtag JC to Miami. Let's make it happen. Turn on those notifications, by the way. If you have not subscribed already, go hit those notifications, and we'll get you all the content that you need. By the way, shout out to my guy Free, who super thanks the other day. Super thanks now a feature on YouTube. And my guy Free said JC to Miami. Hashtag JC to Miami. Let's make it happen. Come on, Chris Greer. Spend some money at the center position, and let's get one of the best centers in football on that Dolphins offensive line. So here's what Super Thanks is. And you guys that are on YouTube a lot might be familiar with Super Chat, which is what you can do in a live chat. Super Thanks is basically that, but outside of live shows. So it's going to be on your phone, on your computer, below this video. So click on the thanks icon. It kind of looks like that. Really appreciate your support. And if you super thanks, we're going to give you a shout out on the next show. Or if you have a question, like a mailbag question, we'll get you on the show that way as well by submitting a super thanks. Number 3 biggest winner, Xavien Howard, because my guy X got paid, and he got paid big time. Obviously, there was a lot of drama surrounding his last contract. At the time he signed it, he became the highest paid corner in the league, and then other guys got paid, and he wasn't even a top 7 highest paid corner. Now he's the highest paid DB in NFL history, because what this new contract is basically adding 2 additional years to his deal. Those 2 years, $50.6 million. So that average annual salary over $25 million, making him the highest paid corner in NFL history. So X got paid. X deserves it. After submitting a trade request last offseason, we were a little bit worried about that contract situation. They restructured his deal for last year before giving him a massive extension. So X certainly deserves it. He's one of the best DBs in the game. Another big winner of this Dolphins offseason is Jaylen Waddle, because Jaylen Waddle comes off this unbelievable rookie season, one of 2 rookies with over 100 receptions, along with Bengals wide receiver Jamar Chase. Now he has Tyreek Hill to kind of learn from, and Tyreek Hill is going to mentor him. On top of that, Jaylen Waddle's going to have a lot of mismatches this year. This is my guy Blizzy Fins on Twitter says, the fact that Waddle is going to have a CB2 or CB3 on him all year brings me so much joy. Guy was making CB1s look silly last year as a rookie. Here's what the Dolphins' wide receiver depth chart looks like right now, and it's certainly outstanding, even after trading Devontae Parker to the Patriots. Tyreek Hill is going to be the number 1 option. Jaylen Waddle is going to have a lot of mismatches as the second wide receiver. Cedric Wilson and Lynn Bowden Jr. getting ready to go to work in the slot. And then he dropped Eric Ezukanma, who day by day I get more excited about what he's going to do in this Dolphins offense. Now, who's going to lead the team in reception yards this season? And you might be looking at me like, why is this even a discussion? Tyreek Hill is the best wide receiver in the game. It's clearly going to be him. Keep in mind, Mike McDaniel might kind of work Tyreek Hill into a Deebo Samuel role. He might have more rushing yards than he did in Kansas City. So who knows? Maybe Waddle's going to lead the team in receiving yards. Speaking of Tyreek, if you haven't gotten your Tyreek Hill jersey, you can do that at chatsports.com/Tyreek. This is my favorite one right here, this little throwback one. Man, this is fresh. My guy Jeremy Chuggs, producer, saying that is hot. So you can go get it at chatsports.com/Tyreek. Chuggs, we can have matching Tyreek Hill jerseys this year when you're producing my live shows. Outstanding. Chatsports.com/Tyreek. Go pick up your cheetah jerseys. Number 5 biggest winner is Austin Jackson. And I'm a little bit more excited about him being a winner of this offseason than I am Michael Deiter, because I clearly went JC. But I think Austin Jackson still has some potential. Former first-round pick. He was playing guard last year. Let's be honest. The guy's not a guard. He's a better fitted tackle. So with the Dolphins not yet signing a right tackle, they didn't draft an offensive lineman either, Austin Jackson is going to have a chance to showcase his potential. It's either going to be him or Liam Eichenberg at right tackle. So in other words, it's going to be Austin Jackson at right tackle this season for Tua, and that's going to be a big role for him because he's going to be protecting Tua's blind side. So going to be very interesting to see, but I think Austin Jackson is someone we're not talking about enough, is a guy that's going to surprise a lot of people next year. Who do you think is the biggest winner of the Dolphins offseason? Go down in the comments section and let me know. I think we're going to have a lot of Tuas down there in the chat. Let's get into the losers now, and the number one biggest loser of this offseason is Myles Gaskin. I mean, I feel really bad for Myles Gaskin. I really do. I mean, he was the Dolphins' primary running back last season. Didn't have a great year. I mean, a decent year, not a great year. I mean, he had no business being an RB1. On top of that, he didn't have an offensive line. So right now, he's RB4 behind Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, and Raheem Mostert. Now, when you look at what the Dolphins would save if they cut Myles Gaskin, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets cut, because the Dolphins would save $2.5 million in cap space. They'd only be taking on $21,000 in dead money. So Myles Gaskin, after being the Dolphins' primary back last season, might not even be on the team this season. But let me ask you what you think. Will Myles Gaskin be on the team this year? Type your 1 for yes or 2 for no down in the comments section. You know, I can see it going both ways. I mean, he's not that expensive of a back, right? You're paying him about $2.5–3 million per year, so he's not that expensive to keep on the team. However, you would be saving, that amount by cutting him, and you don't really need him. He's going to be an RB4, but depth is very important to have. Raheem Mostert, obviously, we've talked about his injury concerns. He only played in one game last year for the San Francisco 49ers. We'll see. I want to know from you, though. Let me know what you think down in the chat. Number 2 biggest loser is Elandon Roberts, and yeah, he re-signed with the Dolphins on what's a team-friendly deal, but when you're looking at this current linebacker situation for Miami right now, after drafting Channing Tindall, there's going to be an odd man out, because I think Tindall's going to start by the end of the year. That odd man out is going to be Elandon Roberts. I don't see Jalen Phillips, Jerome Baker, or AVG taking a step back. Tindall, I think, is going to slide into that inside, weak side linebacker role. Elandon Roberts is going to be on the bench. Then his value goes down when he becomes a free agent again next season. So, look, I think that Elandon's solid. I mean, give him credit. After a really bad 2020 season, he bounced back and was halfway decent last year for the Dolphins. Decent starting linebacker. But Channing Tindall is the guy for the future, right? He's ultimately going to become your starting linebacker. You drafted a linebacker with your first pick in the draft. There's going to be an odd man out by week 10, week 11, when Channing Tindall's going to start. That's why Elandon Roberts is a loser of this offseason. And, it's a lot harder to come up with losers for the Dolphins this offseason than winners. There's been so many winners of this Dolphins offseason. We could probably have our own show talking about all the winners of the Dolphins offseason. Mike Gesicki, if I had to list a loser, would be one. And here's why, because he didn't get an extension. He probably wanted an extension. He didn't get one. He got tagged on what was a team-friendly franchise tag. He's going to make a little bit less than $11 million this year, which, is a pretty good amount considering he only made about $1.5 million last season. But he didn't get an extension, and had he hit the open market, he would have made a lot more per year than what he got. So, I don't know. I mean, with Mike McDaniel's offense, I think he's going to fit well in there. I mean, considering what George Kittle was with Mike McDaniel over in San Francisco, I think there's some value there for Mike Gesicki this year. And if he goes and balls out, his value goes up. But if not, his value goes down. And unlike X and unlike Agba, he didn't get extended for a long time. So, going to be interesting to see what happens with Gesicki. But if I had to list a loser of this offseason, probably be him because he got tagged. But I hope he's a Dolphin for a long time because Mike Gesicki's don't grow on trees. Very hard to find a tight end with his productivity. Let's get into our next loser, and it's Preston Williams, wide receiver who re-signed with the Dolphins. And, when you're looking at Preston, he just hasn't been able to stay on the field, right? He's had a lot of injury issues, just played in 24 games in his first 3 seasons with the team. Re-signed with Miami on a 1-year deal as a restricted free agent, kind of a 1-year prove-it deal. But the Dolphins traded for Tyreek Hill. They signed Cedric Wilson, and they drafted Eric Ezukanma. And I think Eric Ezukanma is a 4th-round pick, ultimately becomes a better option than Preston Williams. So I think Preston Williams, a loser this offseason. I think he's going to make the team. I don't think he's a lock to make the team, considering what the Dolphins did drafting Eric Ezukanma. And watch out for Tanner Connor. My guy from Idaho State is a undrafted free agent. Who knows? He might take Preston Williams' spot on the team. Number 5 loser is the New England Patriots because the Dolphins are clearly the better team now. They beat the Patriots 2 times last season. Both times they played the Pats, and they have gotten significantly better this offseason. Have the Dolphins take that, Patriots fans. The Dolphins clearly the better team, and y'all were all excited when you traded for Devontae Parker. Our wide receiver 4 became your top wide receiver, so have fun with that. Who's the biggest loser of this Dolphins offseason? Probably the New England Patriots. So, look, when you're looking at the Dolphins' chances to make the playoffs, right, they don't have to take down Buffalo to make the playoffs. I mean, Buffalo might win the Super Bowl this year, probably will. The Dolphins, if they finish second in the AFC East, I think make the playoffs. In order to do that, you got to get past New England, which I think the Dolphins are going to have no problems doing. Miami, by the way, opened as a 2.5-point favorite at home week 1 against Mac Jones and the Pats. Thanks for watching today's show. This has been Will Scott. Have a great rest of your weekend, Dolphins fans.